Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to the second episode, or would that be installment? No, it'd probably be episode of Trough Talk with Hogatha. This is where we all gather around the hog trough and we just talk shit. That's what we do. Not really talk shit, but more of like an interview-based show where we also eat. I thought that would be interesting because a lot of people love eating. They love visiting with one another. And that's really where people sort of almost like let down their inhibitions and they get together and they break bread and they just have a great conversation. So today I have a guest. He goes by the name, well, I haven't asked him his pronouns. So maybe we'll ask him once he comes on, or it, or her, or he, or they. We don't know. Maybe Shem, I don't know. But we'll find out. I do believe this person is part of the LGBTQ community or is maybe a bastard child of the community. Who knows? We'll find out. But anyway, the Adorable Deplorable is joining us today. The Adorable Deplorable, in case any of you haven't been paying attention, has really been all over the internet. This person just seems to always find themselves in very, let's say, hostile environments. And I just think this person's very interesting. And I think all of you will probably find this person interesting as well. I'm going to play a short clip of a little example of what this person does. And then we'll bring him on. All right, here we go.
Subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including but not limited to tear gas.
Pretty intense, right, people? The clip was so short because that's all I could put up. All right, well, anyway, without further ado, here is the Adorable Deplorable. Hi, Adorable Deplorable. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. You look fantastic.
So do you. You remind me of like the owl from Fox and the Hound.
Oh, I gotta look at that movie. Oh, is it the big glasses? Is that it? Like the wise old owl has big glasses or big eyes. Yes. So I am so glad you agreed to do this today. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Did you bring a meal?
I did. I brought actually a classic American meal. I brought a McDouble, and I got a 20-piece chicken McNuggets, and I got a large Sprite. But I also wanted to try this new thing they have at McDonald's. It's a fruit punch slushie. Not very slushy. They melt pretty fast, but they tried.
Is it pretty fruity?
It's very sweet and fruity, yes.
Now, what are your pronouns? Do you go by him, her, she, shim, it? What are your pronouns? I want to be respectful.
Right. I find it to be kind of sad that you have to ask that. But I tell people that whatever I look like is what I look like. I'm aware. I'm a man in makeup right now. I'm aware of that. So I mean, if you think I'm a girl, then so be it. If you think I'm a guy, then so be it. I mean, I don't really think there's a wrong answer to whatever my pronoun is. It's whatever the hell people will say. I mean, I believe in equality, so it doesn't matter either way.
And honestly, doesn't it really matter the intent behind the question? It's like if somebody honestly mistakes you for something you're not, but that's done out of innocence or they're being naive. I mean, why really be shitty? Right? Why be mean?
It's like holding out a pole with like bait on it and then getting mad that somebody's trying to eat it. It's really crazy because, like, for instance, like I just said, I'm a man in makeup, so I mean, I can't really get that mad if they get it wrong that I'm not a boy and they call me a girl, So I mean.
Well, and also, and if you do kind of have an adverse reaction to being called the wrong gender or whatever, that kind of says something about you and your own security. I mean, so what? Like, really, so what?
Amen.
I mean, come on. Well, because this is a food-based show, and I am coming to you live from Paris. Well, I'm 27 miles away from Paris, California, but that doesn't matter. I'm in Paris, and I'm having a regional cuisine.
Paris, California. Wait, that just hit me. I'm from Blythe. I'm from a really small town in California. You said Paris, California. That just hit me like a brick. Like Paris, California. If you guys watching don't know what Paris, California is, Google it.
I'm having their regional cuisine, chili cheese and onion French fries. Yes.
I totally didn't even know you were wearing a beret until you said something, because my eyes are not on your beret right now.
Really? What are you looking at the Eiffel Tower? Isn't it beautiful?
I didn't even notice there was one in the background.
Oh, really?
Your boobs are looking really good today.
Oh, thank you so much.
They have their own pronouns.
Well, you know what? The thing is, I'm really into modesty. That's why I at least cover the nipples, and for censorship. I don't want to get banned or anything.
Are you turning Republican on us?
I'm sorry?
Are you turning Republican on us?
Well, no, I'm just smart. I'm smart. I want to stay on the air. You know what I mean? I'd love to stay here for everybody. But we have some UK viewers right now. So thank you, Mysterious Cat, or is it Mysterious Scat? I don't know if there's a double meaning there. And hi, Joe, and hi, everybody. I can't ignore. While
you guys are googling Paris, California, make sure you guys also Google scat.
Scat. There you go.
And just write it down for later.
So adorable, deplorable. There are people in the chat who are calling you TAB. No, the adorable. So that'd be TDP. No, wait.
DP.
Oh, DP.
Wait.
You know what that is, don't you?
TAD. Tad.
Oh, I have seen that. Oh, Mysterious Cat. That's it. They made sure I understand. It's not scat. So anyway, okay. So, do you have a real name, or you just go by the adorable, deplorable?
I go by the Christopher Drew. That's my real name, but I do go by the adorable, deplorable, just because it was something given to me by a lot of people on the right. And they all kind of gave me that nickname, and it kind of stuck. Originally, I go by my name, Christopher Drew, and they kicked me off a lot as the adorable, deplorable, because they say the name is contradictory. So I mean, I do go by both. So look for both, I guess. I hate to have people look for two things, but that's the world we live in.
Not to mention, when people use their real names, they can get doxxed. We all know that there are some evil people out there who really, just because they don't share your opinion, they have no problem ruining your life.
Right.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, those people are really into their beliefs, aren't they? And if you don't believe exactly what I believe, fuck your life.
Yeah, but there's a good side to all this. Once you get doxxed, everybody knows all your information. That sounds like a bad thing, which it is. But guess what? They can't dox you again. I've learned that. Really? Once they dox you once, you're already doxxed. So when you have nothing left to lose, that's when they're really scared, because that's when we really go hard. And like the video.
Now, Christopher, let me ask you something. I played a clip in the beginning of you on a plane going to Portland, Oregon. Now, we all know that Portland, Oregon has been a very volatile city in the United States for several months. And you know what? I agree with you. I've spent a lot of time in Portland throughout my time. Holly Parks, I want to thank you for that tip. Thank you so much. But anyway, I've spent a lot of time in Portland throughout the years, and I really do love it. I think it's a beautiful city. I thought it was a place I wouldn't mind living at.
You do.
And it almost reminds me of a small, slow San Francisco in a way, just because of all the bridges and the water. I really love
the people are very they're very like that too. They're very it's hard to explain. Like they're like they're holistic and kind of like gluten-free kind of people, like
right.
Yeah.
I would love and it's sad because I wish their culture was a little more accepting, or they're very they're not very homogenous at all. They sort of, you got to be one of them or you don't belong,
or you end up being the, what did you call it, the stepchild?
Oh yeah, you are the bastard stepchild of the LGBTQ community. So Christopher, can you explain maybe what you were doing in Portland and how that worked out for you?
Okay, so I went to Portland with a mission to film what's actually going on. I did this the year before as well because I like to show what the media won't show, which is a lot of times the truth. So
Right.
what I was doing was I was going in and because I get told I look like Antifa so much, because I mean they have good style because they look like me. I went in and I tried to film a lot of them and see what they were up to and what they were doing. And what happened was I discovered something, and apparently a couple of other people out there have already known, but I didn't know. I didn't hear about it in the media. I didn't hear about anybody speaking about it. But it was these things called the Black Bloc. So Black Bloc is Antifa, but they're the ones who are actually organized. They're the ones that are making the handbooks and making the pages on Facebook that say, don't worry, if you're Antifa, it's not an organization. If you're simply anti-fascist, you're anti-fascist. Well, remember, somebody had to organize and type that. Somebody had to get these together and the handbook and everything. So the organizers are called Black Bloc, and they're the ones that you would see at the any Antifa gathering with the black umbrellas. And so I kept my eye on them, and I noticing that they were actually all communicating and organizing. And then I noticed they were also the ones that started to throw the projectiles. And each projectile was different. Some of them were bottles with smoke in them. Some of them were actually exploding bottles. So, but the one thing I did notice is that the smoke got worse as time went on. The explosions got bigger as time went on. And so I started to get a little worried. So I put my camera on them and I started following them. And if any of you guys have time after this video, you guys should go check out that video on YouTube. It's at the Adorable Deplorable. That video is really important because I actually caught them on camera building their little bombs and communicating. And I got their whole method of what they do. At least at that rally, what they were doing. So like for instance, one of them will hold the umbrella in front to where nobody can see what they're doing, and two of them will be making the little projectile inside of the either glass bottle or plastic bottle. And then they would raise it, and once they raise it, they wait for the second one, the next person to raise it. And when they raise it, they walk it over to them, and they drop it off. Then they immediately walk back, put their umbrella down, and start making another one. Now, this is really smart because as they're making one, that second one, the one they got to take it to the second person, they wait for the first person to raise their umbrella, and they walk it over to them. There's 3 stations altogether. And then they take it to the first person and walk back. And after they walk back, they put down their umbrella. Once they put down the umbrella, that's when the projectile is thrown from that person in the very front. And the reason why this is smart is because as one is being thrown, one is also being made and walked over to the second station at the same time. So it's efficient, it's fast, it's actually very smart. I wouldn't say dumb, I would say smart because it's simply smart.
It's very tactical. And you know what? That's what exactly, if you watch like old reenactments of say like Civil War or Revolutionary War, that's what they would do is the guys in front would have their muskets or whatever you call them already loaded, and the ones behind them are loading theirs. So once the front line shoots, they can drop down and the second line will shoot. Mm-hmm. So they are using their umbrellas as basically a shield to hide themselves.
I would say umbrellas, and what's even sadder, in normal leftist fashion, if any of you guys aren't left watching this, I'm sorry, but normal leftist fashion, they're using their own as shield as well. What they do is they take all these kids, the kids that read the website, the kids that read the handbook and said, yeah, I'm against fascism, so I'm going to show up because it's not an organization. Anybody can go and be against fascism, so yeah, I'll be Antifa too. Not only do they feel like they belong at that point, but also when they show up, Antifa puts them towards the front. So all of the all the normal looking kids are weirdos. Because you always tell most of them are like weirdos. I mean, I recognize them because I'm a weirdo too. I'm just simply not Antifa, but that's why like a lot of people think I'm Antifa because I'm fucking weird like them.
I would imagine you blend in with them. You could blend in with them and get really good footage.
Not anymore. Yeah. After this video I put out, they unfortunately doxed me again. So I mean, the second time I was like, okay, like, like you can't dox somebody twice. It's just like impossible. But so they doxed me again, and after that, now they're like, I'm sitting there keeping a lookout for me. So I didn't go this last Saturday. But anyways, like I was saying, they take their own and they put them on the front line. So you see in the front lines, the kids with the drums. Maybe it's the weird band kid from school. And you see like a couple of kids that they all look like lesbians, whether they're boys or girls, to be honest. Yeah. They're all just lesbians. And so they're all on the front lines, and they're all the ones yelling and distracting all the Proud Boys and the 3%ers, which are the only ones that can protect all the normal patriots that are going. They distract them by yelling at them in their faces and stuff as the Black Bloc gets together these bombs. And then they throw the bombs in, and they simply get out of every rally I've noticed unscathed. Well, now that I've noticed this, I started talking about it to people. Now I'm spreading it everywhere because I think it's important that we all keep an eye on the black umbrellas because I want them to hear this message. I want them to stop doing that, and I want them to know we can see what you're doing now, and I want them
Right.
to maybe hopefully be discouraged in some way.
Well, yeah, since I mean people like you are putting it out there, they have to realize that now people know what's going on. But they probably maybe they don't even care because, I mean, if the police aren't going to do anything,
Right.
really, well, who's stopping them? But I did notice, and I did notice there you are connected to this group in some fashion. The Proud Boys went there.
The
Now,
Proud
what
Boys.
they were there? What yesterday? They're probably still there, aren't they? But
I think
what is your connection with them? Because I have seen pictures of you with these people. Now there is this understanding, and maybe you can clear it up, that these people are racist and homophobic. And to me, if you're affiliated with them, you're clearly an out homosexual man, I'm assuming. And or you know what I'm saying? Now, how are you received in this population of people?
Now, first of all, when I hang around these people, it's normally at events anywhere from Sacramento to Central Valley of California. I see them all the time. It all started here in HB because I actually went against somebody in city council and showed up at their city council meeting and was outing the fact that she was standing with Antifa at a rally here in Huntington Beach. Now, Antifa doesn't really come to Huntington Beach, but they did that time in force. And so we had fights and stuff that broke out. So I went to the city hall meeting the next week and said, no, I saw you there, to one of the city hall people. We got her kicked off her position. Thank God it worked because they were over there with Antifa who were harassing the actual locals. And it was just really crazy to me because that's the first time I actually had a run-in with Antifa. Well, after that time, Antifa started doxing me. So the real connection here is through the Proud Boys and Antifa. They've always been at war, both those groups. And so once the Proud Boys saw that they started doxing me and the Proud Boys looked into who I was, they kind of vetted me a little bit. I didn't know that was happening, but they were doing that. And they made sure like I was okay. Then after that, they
have
like,
to know.
Right. And so at that point, this was 2 years ago. And so at that point, they started protecting me at different events. So every event I went to, whether it be in Florida, Texas, they always will call the Proud Boys from that group, from that area, and tell them to meet me either at the airport or they've been at all my events, walked me to and from my events, made sure I was safe every single time. So that was my connection with them. Mm-hmm. And every time, mind you, when I go to these events is when I'm speaking or I'm like I am right now. Like, you know me, I don't wear makeup all the time. When I'm on, when I do things like this with the Adorable Deplorable, I normally always have my face beat like I did today. And so these people obviously are homophobic because when they see me is when I look the most girliest.
How weird. Okay, but you at no time have ever received any hate from this homophobic group.
They're clearly not homophobic because there's gay people that are also part of the Proud Boys. And hi. So yeah, there's some gay boys that are part of the Proud Boys, and they're actually really, really good people. What it is just a drinking club. It's just a drinking club.
I have read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is. Excuse me. That there's actually a lot of Latinos in the group. Like people think it's a white supremacist group, and I don't know. I'm just asking you because I don't know, but and I've even heard that there are black people.
There's a lot of black people. There's even Muslims. To be honest, there's even a Muslim. I met him I met him in Portland. And there's the guy who started it. Two guys started it. One guy was white, but the other guy, his name is Enrique.
Right.
And he's from his family, I think, is from Cuba or something. But he's so suave, and he's brown as brown can be for those people, I guess. And but no, he's one of the people who started it and founded it. So they're clearly not racist, but they're also not homophobic. If they willingly protect me for free all across America, and they're there not just for me, but they're there for every single person that they see getting messed with. They walk families to and from events. They walk women to and from events. They're very gentlemanlike, and they make sure that everybody gets in and out safe. They even try to make it to where Antifa is safe when they let them. They think everybody has a right to speak, and that's what I love about the Proud Boys so much, because we agree on so many levels, especially that one. Antifa, you don't have to go. You can be here. You could speak, but it's the violence that you must stop, and that's what they bring a message saying.
So that clip that you took of Portland, that's nothing. I showed nothing compared to what you have on film. And I was wondering, were you scared? Did you get Did you get hurt in any way? Were you attacked or anything like that?
I did get pepper sprayed a couple of times, but it wasn't straight dead in my eye. It was normally because I was a bystander near the pepper spray, or near where they were fighting. Now, both sides, you could tell when you're there. I'll be honest, I don't want to sugarcoat anything or make it seem like I'm sugarcoating Antifa, because they are very dangerous, and that footage was nothing compared to what is actually going on. But Antifa themselves, you could tell that both sides don't want to fight each other. Like there's a lot of hesitation there. And
Really?
so when the fights do break out, though, they break out because every single person thinks that their friend's going to be jumped. So that's why they get so big so quickly, I saw, and that's why they escalate. But you can tell, like, Antifa's like, what? And Brother's like, what? And they're like, they do this a lot. Like, there's a lot of, like, you know?
Well, a lot of a lot of toxic male,
Yeah.
testosterone, and you know how men are. And so they're just getting in each other's faces and trying to intimidate each other.
Right.
I've known people like that. They'll kind
But
of,
it's almost like Mad TV when the guy goes like, like,
or what they're doing is they're telling their friends, hold me back,
yeah,
hold me back.
it's very that.
But then they'll let them go and they still stand there and don't do nothing. Yeah, I understand. Now,
Was
Christopher,
I scared? I was terrified.
I bet you were. And how many days were you in that?
This year I went for only 2 days. But rest that went straight to San Francisco. So I mean, I'm getting so used to Antifa now that, like, whenever they came to our events that we had in Modesto for the march against pedophilia, they weren't scared to me. And it was actually weird because this is the first time that I felt so just blasé towards them, because I'm so used to the ones in Portland now that, like, the ones out here in California, which to a lot of people are dangerous, to me they were so docile. And
Really?
that's crazy that I have to think that way, because of what Portland has done to me. Portland's literally a war zone. And it's so crazy on the level of craziness that they'll do. And that's why I'm outing the Black Bloc and the bombs that they're throwing, because everybody's excited during those moments. We're all feeling a lot of emotions. Some people are scared, some people are nervous, some
Right.
people are like I said, trying to intimidate each other. All these emotions are going on. So to think that these kids are packing these bombs correctly is absurd, because I did see that the bombs kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So what's it to say that one out of all of these nights that they've been protesting, what's it to say that one time one person made one wrong bomb and it ended up blowing up a building, or worse, hurting like a couple hundred people? So that's why I think it's important to out it now, because I don't know how crazy they're willing to go.
Right. And you know what? And when you think, and I never thought about that, Christopher. And I think a lot of people that are watching probably have never thought about it in that way. You have a lot of these people, inexperienced people, who are basically in warfare, guerrilla warfare right now. And these are in big city centers. Like, we're talking Seattle, Los Angeles, Portland. And imagine if somebody did make some sort, because it's obvious the police do not have control.
Right.
It's completely obvious. Now, what happens when one of them show up with a really big kind of incendiary bomb type of device? I mean, it's funny. You have TSA all over the airports, things like that, ports of entry, but not in these cities where all of this guerrilla warfare is going on. And I do notice that the media does downplay it. When I see footage like yours and other people that I pay attention to online, I'm like, you never see this on the news. In fact, they say it's the summer of love. They say it's basically a love fest. And it's
If
like,
that's love, then I don't want nothing to do with it.
no, and I know, and you know what, and I have a very diverse audience. I have people who think many different ways, which I do love. I do love that. I'm not in an echo chamber, and I don't like that.
That's why I don't go to Parlor too much, because it's just an echo chamber. I don't like it.
And so what it is I don't like being an echo chamber. So, and I know there are people who are watching right now. They know what you're saying is true, and they know that their mainstream media is not showing it. Because we all have internet. And that's what I think is really strange about the mainstream media, is they assume that we're all just sitting in front of the TV all day long. And we're not. I think the majority of people are on.
To put a little more in perspective, imagine somebody got shot. Our friend Jay got shot, literally riding a skateboard in the middle of downtown Portland, in between the skyscraper buildings on a busy street. A man shot another man in the chest and barely walked away from the incident after he shot him. And the man lay there and died. And the man who shot him walked back home, stayed at home, didn't get caught for another 2 days after he said that he was going to go live with Vice magazine and do a live interview. Now, that being said, the advertisement for the interview was him talking as well. And that one obviously wasn't live because they used it as an advertisement, meaning after he shot the guy, He went and even found Vice magazine and talked to them for a little while. Like, that's how crazy it is. And this is in a downtown metropolitan area where you shouldn't be able to shoplift without getting your hand grabbed by a police officer.
Right.
Now, and then shot somebody and just got to walk away. Like, I shot him in 3 days and never had to leave. He wasn't scared, and so he didn't flee the States. He didn't go to Mexico. He didn't go to Canada. He simply shot somebody and went home and sat there for 3 days. That's how much the cops are disconnected from this situation.
Yeah, and it's time that really something happens to these mayors and governors. I mean, and to me, this has nothing to do with politics. It has something to do with public safety. It's public safety. If those, it's so funny because those governors and mayors, they are governors and mayors for every citizen in their state or city. And it's like, you're only protecting the ones that are disruptive. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand why, I know, okay, living here in California, you have to have a permit to have a protest. I do know that. But yet I know that these people are not they're not getting licensed to protest and blocking the freeways. It's like, what's the point of having the rules if there's no consequence? Fine, people should protest, but you know what? Protest on the sidewalks. We can see you. Trust me, we see you. Why do you have to sit in the street and stop me from going to the hospital? Why do you have to stop me from going to my funeral? Why do you have to stop me from taking my kid to something? It makes no sense. And it makes me wonder if these protests that basically, bother everybody's life, is that really, are you really getting people on your side? I mean, I don't understand these tactics. It makes no sense. And I guess why aren't you on the sidewalks? If you want support, why aren't you being respectful? Why aren't you giving a clear-cut, universal message?
Well, I'm big on that too. My biggest thing is I tell them, I say, you should be able to protest. Everybody should be able to speak. I mean, we live in a country full of free thinkers and free speech. So if you're going to live somewhere where everybody can say whatever they want, you have to know that with 360 million people, somebody might say something stupid. So, I mean, you got to be aware of that, and you can't get all upset or mad about that. What we must do is we must say our stupid shit or our correct shit, depending on what side you're on. But you must do it without infringing on other people's rights. So when you stand in the street and you're stopping somebody else from continuing to move throughout their day, you are at that point infringing on their rights and holding them against their will. And that literally is against the law. And that's false imprisonment, and it's also it's a citizen. Anyways, it's something that has to do with citizen's arrest. But anyways, it's also false imprisonment by holding somebody against their will. So this is just wrong that they're even standing in the street or in any freeway or any situation like that. Like you said, we can see you from the sidewalk and we hear you. We hear you. We've heard you for so long. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like stopping our rights is doing anything except for simply stopping our rights. And that's where we should be drawing a line on freedom, because we do have freedom of speech, but you can't stop somebody else's freedom so you can exercise your freedom.
Well, right. I don't care who's president, and I don't care who the person in the White House is, and I don't care what they're doing in there. They could be skinning dogs and whatever, but I'm not going to block.
You started a new rumor.
Yeah, I am not going to block you from going to the store. I'm just not. Why would that give me the right to do that? Like,
you need to make an article. Breaking news: Hogatha says Donald Trump skinning dogs alive in the White House.
Well, I mean, and honestly, I can't think of any circumstance that would have me create a situation that would stop my fellow citizens from living their lives. I don't understand that.
Well, that's just as crazy as defunding the police. Why would you defund them when they clearly need new training? That would take money to get that new training in.
Well, you know what? I did hear that there are some cities who are actually refunding the police, and it's going to be for training. And this is another thing. It's so funny because the police departments don't get their orders from the White House. They get it from the mayors and governors. So I have no idea why they think that this is a federal thing when it's a local thing.
Exactly.
And I think that's the strange thing, is you have these state governments that are all up in arms about what's going on in the White House and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, sweetheart, the governor's mansion is the one that makes policy that really dictates your daily life.
Not in California, because our governor refuses to live in the governor's mansion because his son said he's scared because there's too many homeless people that sleep outside of it.
Oh, well, then they should be they should be reminded every day of what's happening in our state, and they should be forced to live in that mansion, which is funny. I'll tell you what I think is funny is they were angry when they thought that Donald Trump and Melania and Barron weren't going to live in the White House. I remember that was a big deal. Oh my God, they're not going to live in the White House. Oh, they're going to be living in their penthouse mansion up in New York or down at Mar-a-Lago. Well, no, honey, you were wrong. They're in the White House, but you don't care about the governor of California, do you? Right. Not wanting to live with all the scummy homeless people in front of his mansion.
And the irony is because the citizens of California who are voting blue, they're the ones who literally are paying, well, we all are, in fact, no matter what, if you're paying taxes in California, our tax dollars went to pay for the new security system at his brand new house that he had built, and which he, by the way, moved again because people were protesting outside of it. So each time the governor moves, it's almost like the president with his security. We have to make sure we get bulletproof windows in there. We got to make sure he has enough security around the premises. We got to make sure that each part of the premises gets brand new camera systems, brand new security systems, and that's all of our money that's paying for that. Not on top of that, he's also the highest paid governor in the nation. He's the only governor that does not live in or around the governor's mansion.
Amazing. So what you're saying is they had to fortify his personal home.
Every time he moves, we have to make it like a fortress, like we've already done to the now museum, but was the California governor's mansion. Now it was a museum about in the 90s because the governor before Governor Brown didn't want to live there because it was a dated house. So what they did was not only did they make it a museum for a while, but then when Brown got back into office, he paid money to make sure it got restored totally and fully so he could move back in. And Governor Brown moved back in for his last 2 years before Newsom became the governor. And now Newsom became governor, and his son said, I'm too afraid to live there because of the homeless people, so they made it a museum again. But nobody can go visit it because of COVID.
Okay, so Christopher, I want to ask you, what made you get involved in all this? I would assume at one time you were a liberal.
I thought I was a liberal. If I look at my voting record, I've always voted for the Republican president, but I thought I was a Democrat because I was gay, because I was poor, because of the way I grew up. I thought I had to be. And I also didn't want to be a Christian because I thought Christians were Bible thumping gay haters. But then I was forced into the Christian sector with all those people because the gay people kind of came for me hardcore when they found out I was voting for Trump. I really wasn't paying too much attention to the election during the time, just based on the fact that I was running for a social political position myself called Mr. Gay Orange County in OC. And but I did watch a little bit. And with the little bit I did watch, I was going to vote for Trump because I would vote for dog crap over Hillary Clinton. I thought it was going to be a Kanye West kind of situation. And I voted for him, and he won. And I didn't realize at the time how bad and evil he was. Because like I said, I was so focused on my campaign. I didn't really pay attention to that. But I guess the whole world behind my back was like hating Donald Trump slowly but surely. And so when they found out I voted for him, I got thrown to the dogs. And it was really a kind of a sad moment. But then, he's doing so amazing that it surprises me so every day how great he's doing. The more he does good, the more I'm so happy I made that decision, and the more I stand behind him. So it kind of fueled my fire when they kicked me out of the gay community and I became the bastard child. Then I joined over at the Trump supporter side, and I thought, well, they're Christians, they're gonna hate me too. So fuck it, the whole world's after me. So I went to my first Trump rally like ready to go. I was like, somebody's gonna talk crap, I'm gonna fight. And I got there, and everybody was so amazing. And I've never been able to say I've been around the nicest, most coolest people. And the best part about it is I get to be myself without having to feel like I'm the other, or without having to feel like I have to turn up the gay, or without having to feel like I have to act a certain way to get even the gays on the right to accept me. I don't have to change myself at all. And all these people see me as an American. And there's gays that are scattered out throughout the movement, but we're not, we call ourselves the gays more than anybody else calls us the gays. Like they don't group us together. We do because we find commonalities. But other than us, the Christian people don't group us together. They look at us all like they love us. And that changed my whole life, my whole perspective on conservatism and also on Christianity. And I may not be a Christian still, but these people have been nicer to me than any liberal has ever been, ever.
Now, I have a question right here that just popped up. It says, how do you get kicked out of the gay community? It's not like you just stop being gay.
And I agree with you on that aspect. But kicked out. Ooh, I spit over something. McDonald's.
That's okay.
No, but kicked out. I should have chosen my words differently for sure. It's not like Antifa where they say we're not a real organization. it's not like that at all. But they really are an organization, because the LGBT really isn't an organization. It is it's more of it becomes like a brotherhood. I had no straight friends at all. I was in the gay community for years, in the gay night scene and the gay nightclub scene. I was head of promotions for the most successful gay nightclub in Orange County for 7 years. It was my whole life. And like I said, I was running for a social political position where I represent the whole gay community of Orange County. So when I say kicked out of the gay community, I mean more ostracized. And I think ostracized is a better word. And exiled. I mean, you could use that too. Very Lion King, kind of like.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like I was being kicked off the island in a sense.
Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they do it too, and they call it excommunicating. Excommunication. If they don't like what you do, they kick you out of their organization. And I have heard this from several gays. I mean, there's no real membership card, but
Right.
the community is so small that you get blacklisted and word travels fast. And so you have to, it's a club and you have to be one of them. Your sexual orientation really doesn't matter in the end. It really all has to do with your
Right.
mindset. Well, that's terrible. And
it just fueled my fire to want to go and talk to gay people. They hate me, but I changed so many of their minds. It was very slowly, but surely. And it's because I'm noticing how we've become so weaponized. When I was pushed out, it gave me an opportunity to stand on the outside and look in. And when I did that, I didn't realize, first of all, how much pressure I felt every day by being in the gay community. I didn't realize how pressurized it was to make people happy. I also didn't realize how much I was acting fake to be a certain type of gay that they would all like. And lastly, what I noticed was, from the outside looking in, was the anger and the fact that we were a peaceful movement about love, about wanting to just love who we wanted to love. And we said love is love and love is blind. And all these things we said, but we didn't realize it. And I didn't see it until I took a step back and looked up from the outside. But our community has become so angry, very angry towards each other, mostly towards each other, honestly, more than anybody else. But it's so combative and it's so, oh, my booty. It's so combative and it became so evil. And it's sad that the Mean Girls culture, in a sense, and the library reading each other has become such a cool thing that all we do is sit around and put each other down. And it's sad.
it does seem pretty superficial, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Christopher, I have a picture back here I want to show you. You're making this symbol, right? You do know that that's the white pride symbol, or is it known as something else?
Well, if it means white pride, then what did it mean when Obama did it, or what did it mean when anybody else in the world told their son or daughter, like, okay, or what did it mean in acting class in high school when your teacher can't talk to you because you're on stage and they have to signal things to you? What happened to when you smoked a joint? What happened to all of those beautiful things that you used to make this sign for? If it means white pride, I mean, I don't think it means white pride, but what it actually means, and the reason I'm holding it up, is because of the triggery, for one. I do enjoy the conversation when people come to me and say that, so I can educate them on the matter. But at the same time, it means 3%. And in 1776, it took 3% of the population to finally be fed up to start that revolution that got us to be America today. And it's where I hold up because I'm a warrior for America. I'm a freedom fighter.
See, I always just thought it meant okay. You know,
I mean, ultimately, that's what it means.
Yeah, it just means okay, all right. And you know, the funny thing is, everybody knows that, but they pretend not to know it. It did. I'll tell you what. One thing that I find that's really kind of odd to me is the willingness for people just to forget about everything they know, and then to adopt a whole new way of thinking that they know is not right, just to fit in. Now, everybody knows what this means. And I don't know why nobody fights against it. You know, why, everybody has made this symbol. Everybody.
We all have.
Now everybody wants to pretend. No, it's always meant white pride. And I don't get that. It's like, why are people like that? Why do you think? Is it to belong?
I find that it is to belong because with the gay community, in particular, you're right about that, where you said that everybody kind of just changed their whole ideology. Because even though I went to the Republican side, I never changed my way of thinking. I still always believe that this means okay. I believe in love, and I believe in equality. I believe that everybody has a place at the table. And I believe that everybody, unique as they are, They don't need to be categorized or put into little boxes. Anybody can shine as bright as they want and be just as weird as they want and be all about themselves. And that's what I thought that we were about in the gay community. But even though I went to the right, I never changed any of that ideology. I still brought it with me, and I believe the same, like I do, and everybody on the right seems to believe that as well. But the left, what they did is, like you said, they switched their whole ideology. It's like love, acceptance, tolerance, hate. If you think differently than me, I hate you. Violence and fascism is going to fix fascism. It's wild to me. So I do agree with you. And do I think it's because they want to belong? Well, what I've been finding by infiltrating both sides, where I infiltrate on the gay community side and I infiltrate on the Antifa side, I find there are a lot of people who actually are more on the right, but they don't know it because, like me, they're afraid of saying the word Republican or conservative because I didn't like that word either. But or B, they're just secretly voting for Trump because they're so afraid that if somebody finds out that what happened to so many of us will happen to them, that they just lie to everybody's face and they appease everybody online and they appease everybody to their face. But when we're alone and we have conversation, they're like, I voted for Trump too.
Right. I've heard that is actually a thing, and that the Democrats are getting kind of scared because they do know that there is an unsilent majority, just like last time, and probably even more now than ever, because now a lot of these conservatives or secret conservatives understand what could happen to them and their families. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, I've seen people lose their jobs, lose family members, things like that. I've never seen this before in my life, and it's really sad and it's sick the way that the culture has decided to go that way. That you could just write people off and not care about people's jobs or careers or families.
Well, I try to find the good in everything, and even as dark as this is, we got to try to find some kind of good in it. And I think the best part that I found in it is it's got all of us involved. It's got us all talking about politics. It's got us all knowing now that our vote and our voice does matter, and we can literally influence more than just makeup on the internet. We can also influence things like the elections. We can also influence things like our futures and our local government. And I think that's really important to note because a lot of people like me I didn't think that I even had a say in politics. I thought my vote smote, like it really doesn't matter. That's what I thought. I thought like they're gonna do what they want no matter what. But no, now I'm noticing that like my voice can change votes. I could be that person who changes just barely 300 votes. That 300 votes could be the difference between a win and a lose. So I think it's really important that we are all out there looking at some of the positives, which is very little, but their positives are now we're actually getting involved and wanting to learn more and know what's going on. You know.
Well, plus, yeah, and like how you said, people think their vote doesn't count, but the reality is, what if there's 10,000 of you that think the same way? That's 10,000 votes that aren't being cast. You know,
that's why I don't like mail-in ballots, because mail-in ballots they say it's no big deal. Only 0.3% of them are 0.3% of the mail you send in through USPS will be messed with or lost or something. 0.3% of 360 million. Screw that. Just California alone, through 0.3% of 66 million, which is what we have in California. And that's literally over a million people. Like
right, and that could be all the difference. And that could be all the difference in the world. And I'm not promoting any side whatsoever. I'm just saying whoever you're supporting, vote for them because there's a million more like you. You know, hopefully you all get the message.
And don't hate people who think differently than yourself either. And if they do vote differently, that's okay. What we need to stop is we need to stop the violence in the streets on both sides. We need to stop the hate on both sides. Right. We need to make sure that we can live in a country where we can disagree and still live amongst each other. Like we can coexist.
And people forget that we are here in this place right now in 2020. You know how our country has just come leaps and bounds, and we are one of the greatest country. I mean, people are running here for a reason. They are sacrificing their children's lives for a reason to get here.
The freest gay country in the world.
Right. So you can't bash it all. You can't, because there are people who would love to replace you in a second. And what was my point with that? You know what? This is my point, Christopher. Can you explain this picture of the three, you and two other people that are in a state of undress? Is that at a conservative event?
No, that was me at Pride back in the day. I used to be okay. So I invented the hashtag ratchet. Okay, I literally had my own hashtag way back in the day called Boy Cash App. It was crazy. I used to be a party boy. I was head of promotions for a nightclub. So I used to always be, well, first of all, I was hotter than I am now. And I used to be naked as every day, everywhere I went. I was that gay boy. Like, I was that queer that it was like, boy, like, I was him. But
Now-
the picture was just me, my best friends Gio and Matt, and we all three went to Pride. We always dressed like kind of similar but kind of different everywhere we went. At the time for like a year, and we always just like kind of went crazy.
Now so the tan one is a female.
No, that's Gio. Gio's a boy. They're all boys.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. And do you still communicate with these people?
I still talk to Gio. Me and Matt don't talk anymore because of course Matt hates me for being who I am and who I vote for. But the other one, Gio, the one in the middle, me and him have always remained friends throughout everything. He thinks I'm stupid for who I vote for. And he's like, girl, you're dumb. But at the end of the day, he still talks to me. We talk here and there. He lives in Florida.
Because he values you as a friend. That's why.
Yes.
He doesn't value you for your vote. He values you for your friendship.
We've been through a lot of things together. And so we still do keep in communication like once every great while. But we watch each other's stories. I can always see that.
And are you Kesha?
Yes.
Are you Kesha?
I'm blurred for the gods. that's what Face Me does.
Okay, so you know what, Christopher? Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is a part of the show where anybody could, ask a question and I will answer it. Let's just put it this way. If the question comes up with a color on it, I could see it a lot better. And you know what I mean? If it's colored, that means you paid for the question. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to play this intro. It's called Ask Hogatha, but you know what? It's Ask Christopher too. So they will give me questions and I will put them up on the screen and maybe you could answer them, okay? Here we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Hogatha Sisty.
Ask Hogatha anything you want, baby. Ask Hogatha anything you want, baby. Do I fit in? I don't know. Do I fit in?
You're a dude.
So are you. Wow. Ask Hogatha anything you want, baby. Ask Hogatha anything you want, baby. Ask Hogatha anything you want, baby. Ask Hogatha anything you want. Ask Hogatha.
Okay, so you liked it? You know what? One of my followers sent it to me. I loved it. I didn't, once you get out there, there are so many generous people out there. It's amazing.
Creative.
Yeah, creative too. So if anybody has a question for me or Christopher, you could ask it now. Oh, well, I'm just going to put this up here. Look at this. Christopher is the bomb.com and then some. Micah, you have a fan out there, a stalker.
Hey.
Oh my. Jay says, do you think Biden or Trump is more sexy? Who do you think is more sexy, Biden or Trump? I mean, come on. They're both got some sex appeal going on. It's going to be hard to pick.
I mean, sex. I would have to say Biden.
You think? Oh, Biden has
if
more.
I have to sleep with one of them, it'll be Biden.
Well, you know what? Maybe because he's a bottom.
I think because he's skinny and he doesn't look like Trump looks like he has like a. Maybe it's because remember statues where Trump has really small penis. It looks like that.
You never know. Trump looks like he might have a fupa. Biden probably doesn't have a fupa.
Biden looks like he has a big dick.
Huh? What'd you say?
Biden looks like he has a big.
Oh, probably because he's lean and tall, huh? I understand.
The really tall, lean guys always have like something really long under there.
Okay, so why are there granny trannies? I don't know how to answer that. Does that mean like an old transsexual, an old trans woman, or a man who waits till they're old? You mean like Caitlyn Jenner?
Well, I think that can be explained really easily. That's the same thing as when people say, why are there old men who have wives and kids in the gay bars? Well, society didn't give us all different times to be accepted. Society accepted us all at the same time. So the young gay generation, they get to come out and they get to just be comfortable from day one. A lot of people didn't. My generation, we were the last ones to be hated, but the first ones to be praised for being gay. So I watched that whole transition. So unfortunately, those older men, they got to come out at the same time when we did. And just like those granny trannies, they got to finally express who they are and be themselves at a later time in life because the world accepted transsexuals all around the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense to me. Tammy says, who has a better sex life, Trump or Biden?
Oh, Trump. Of course, Trump.
Well, yeah.
Trump ain't cute, but Trump has money, and those girls love money.
I think out of the two, let's face it, neither one of them can sustain a real erection. But I think Trump probably has no problem injecting his penis with something to give him an erection. Plus, he has a hot woman, or probably any other woman that he
If I had to pick one of them to go to and to get paid for it, I'd go to Trump immediately.
Okay, so here we go. I agree with you there. In Scotland, we could have been arrested using. Oh, you're kidding me! This isn't a question, but Michael says you could use the OK. You couldn't use the OK symbol in Scotland. You could get arrested. Isn't that
Well, I love being American, because in America you can do whatever the fuck you want.
God, it really kind of makes that woman getting arrested for not wearing a mask not look so bad.
Right.
I mean, you do this. Oh, the police are at your door. How weird.
Are they socialists?
I don't know. Well, it's in the UK. I mean, I know they're not as free as us, but I didn't think that they were under the government's thumb like that.
Yeah, me neither. Wow.
God, well, does anybody have a question?
I think somebody asked a question about, do you think Biden still believes gay people? I don't know. Oh, I can't put it on the screen. You have to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see it, Joey. Do you think Biden still believes gay people are a threat to national security? And do you think Trump is just pandering to trying to end HIV?
No, I think that what's happening here, I think that Biden actually does think that the gay conservatives are a threat to national security. But I don't think that he even believed it then. I think that he was just kind of going with the party line when it was just not okay to be gay. And personally, I don't think that he loves us, but I don't think that he's one to really think for himself ever. I think that he'll always go with whatever he's kind of told to go with. But when it comes to, do I think Trump is just pandering to trying to end HIV? No, I believe that Trump really does care about the HIV crisis in America. I think where he panders to gays is when he says that he's going to decriminalize homosexuality worldwide, when the only countries where it's illegal to be gay is Muslim-run countries. So I think he's coming from the Middle East and using us to get there, which I'm kind of okay with. But I don't think he's pandering to us when it comes to the HIV situation, no.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. And as far as it comes to Biden, do you pandering, okay, still believes gay people are a threat. I don't know if he thinks they're a threat, but I honestly don't. I think you know what? I'll be honest. I don't think nobody gives a shit if gay people can get married or not. I don't. But Biden is a whore. Biden is a whore, and all he has ever done was earn money from our tax dollars. That's all he has ever done. So whoever pulls his strings and has put money in his pocket, that's what he believes. And if you don't believe that, just look at his record. The man is just everywhere with everything. As far as Trump, you know what? He don't give a shit what you do. Would he love to see the end of HIV? Of course, because his name will be attached to it. And is that a good reason or a bad reason? Who gives a shit?
I mean, it's good enough for me, as long as somebody's willing to do it and somebody's willing to attack it. Because it's affecting the gay community and the African-American community the most.
Well, you might come on now, you people. Do you really think the president is going to be one of these people that anonymously pay your bill? The president is the leader of the country. Just to be sitting in the Oval Office, being elected to that position, you're a fucking badass. You're a badass. And you know what? You broke some necks to get up there. You did. I don't care what anybody says. You don't rise to the top being a nice guy. You don't rise to the top being a weak person. Even Obama, even though he comes off as Mr. Smooth and everything, I'm sure he's a big asshole. And it's like, you know what? They're not up there for you. They're up there to fill their destiny. They are there. They're it. They've reached to the top of popularity in this country, and you don't
in the world.
Yes, in the world, and you don't get there by being Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers would never get in the White House.
Oh, poor Mr. Rogers.
He wouldn't even scrub the toilets in the White House. I mean, come on. So let's be real, people. I don't know what you expect. You expect your grandpa to be in there in the White House to pamper you and make you feel good and call you sweetie, but that's not who that person is. And I do think a lot of people do kind of look at the president as that person to really replace their father or their husband or their mom or whatever. It's like they're just the CEO of the country. That's what they're doing. I mean, I don't know. I think people, I especially in these past 4 years, I think people have completely gone off the rails. And I think it's because they really don't know how it works. Right. And I honestly believe that a lot of people don't know how it works.
Well, they clearly don't when it comes to first of all the states where everybody's kind of going crazy are all left-leaning states, and they're marching about things like racism and stuff. These are all issues that are local, and they all have to do with local governments and local police forces, which have to abide by what the mayor says, and they have to abide by what the sheriff says. And the sheriff is not a position that you apply for. The sheriff is a position that's elected in. So they're just as right or left-leaning as the politicians, and they're the ones giving all the orders to the police. So in any of these states where everybody's going crazy, everybody wants to blame Donald Trump, that's your proof right there that they don't know how it works. Because otherwise, if you want change, vote differently.
Well, and it's just like this whole pandemic thing. The president basically said, okay, governors, you control your states. That's it. I'm giving you guys, you're the big man. You're the president of your states. There you go. And then
that's
remember Biden.
That's what they should have always done. They should have always given the power to the states. And that's what I commend Trump on. But I was like, yay, Trump, he's doing what he's supposed to do, which is giving the power back to the states. But at the same time of him doing that, I took a look behind myself and was like, oh, wait, our governor's Newsom. It's like, oh, wait, Trump, wait. But at the same time, Trump didn't wait because that's not his job to wait. It's his job to make sure that the Constitution is rang through the whole country. And that is that we have states' rights. We cannot take away that. So he will help the states that ask for it or that will take his help when he offers it. Otherwise, there's nothing he can do about your local places. So if you guys are still rioting for 100 days in, then that has to do with your local people. That has nothing to do with Trump.
Well, you know, it's kind of like if this is the way they're treating. Well, I'm going to ask this question first from Sir Fat. Dear deplorable, adorable deplorable, how do you get those deplorable stains out of my sheets? I'm just extra leaky tonight. I'm assuming some kind of anal leakage. He might have some kind of chocolate chips in his bed. You know what I mean?
It came from the front, not the back. you said anal leakage, so I'm trying to. I would hope that his stains on his sheets came from the front, not the back. But,
back.
But I mean, how do you get the stains out of your sheets? I would use a lot of Clorox, or I would throw them away and probably buy some more. You can go to Ross and get them very cheap.
Okay, and goddamn, I already forgot what I was going to say. You know, I'm such an old lady, and I lose thoughts, and I should. You know what I think is so. Oh, now I know. It's kind of like this is the way I think people are running the country right now, or the citizens think is going on. It's almost like, let's say if I go and I buy I don't know, this product right here. Let's say I go buy this product from the sex store, okay, and it's
wait, what is that?
Here.
Is that a rubber or a bomb?
It's a rabbit. You see the little ears? They flutter. I have a green screen on, so you can't really see it. But listen, it's almost like if this is a defective item.
You just have that next to you in your studio?
Well, yeah, but it's really close to the bed, too. But if you notice the dark stuff on it, that's exactly what you think it is. Marquina stuck it in me, and it broke open the mud dam. And I said, honey, I got to be ready for that. But listen.
I just took a bite of food.
Listen, so it would be like, let's say you buy this, and this is a defective item. Instead of going to the store that you bought it at, instead, you write an email to the plastic manufacturer to say, you made me a shitty product. Then what are they going to say? Then they're going to say, honey, take it back to the store you bought it at. That's how people are running politics right now. The citizens, they think, my God, I didn't like the way this police officer put on the handcuffs too tight. I'm going straight to the president. Doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, honey. You know,
we were straight to the president.
I mean, it's so stupid. I'm going to the UN. Okay. Ashley, and thank you for this tip, Ashley. Sadly, it makes them sleep better at night knowing they say they are going to offer this and that, even though it's just empty promises. Yes, that happens all the time. Yeah, of course.
I don't think it's really to sleep better at night. I think it's to basically kind of steal your vote and gain your vote. I don't think that they're really worried about sleeping at night. I don't think any of them. Well, to be honest with you, sometimes I don't think any of these politicians sleep. I think that they're all like kind of like aliens or something, you know. They're the kind of, what do they call them, the snake aliens, or like the aliens that are the reptile.
The lizard people, or
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like that it's them because of the fact that I don't know if they even sleep. Like their minds never stop, and I try to just keep up. I'm exhausted. But to be honest with you, I think that mainly their goal is to get your vote, not really to sleep at night.
And maybe, what's that medicine that they say comes from children's blood or something? Andronocrine, or what do they call it?
Yeah. I can't say it. I can't say it at all.
Yeah, I can't say it either. I don't know it. Let's see. Is that for you or Marquina? No, Stephanie, that's for me. Marquina used it on me, and it's not something I really like. She just thought she was being sexy. Because she knows I don't like penis-shaped toys because I'm a lesbian. So why would I want a penis or even a plastic penis in me? It's not it. No. Okay. Trump did that to expose the sleazy governors. Oh, so Jojo Mama, she has a good point there. Maybe he's like, hey, you go right ahead and handle it. And they couldn't.
Well, he did say that actually during his press conference, and Jojo Mama probably saw the same conference I did, where he said, well, they left. They want to show us what kind of country they want us to live in. Well, I'm going to let them show you. And so he did kind of let them go for the first month or two because he said that he's like, I'm going to let them show you what kind of country they want. And so he let Portland go, and he let a couple of the other LA go. But there comes a point in time when I feel like enough is enough, and we've seen enough. But again, he is so about the Constitution that he can't really go in there and do something now that he even wants to. But in the beginning, yes, it was like that. In the beginning, he did say he's going to let everybody see them for what they are.
Now, do you remember? It's funny because I don't. I don't remember right now.
Anything.
Mary O'Connor says, research yourself, you lazy ass. Look at what he has done for the black-founded colleges. The monies he gave them for 10 years. Look into his health care policies, his education policies. There you go, little man. I gave you a start. Educate yourself. I'm not your mommy. Again, don't look at Facebook as for research. How old are you?
What was she talking about? Biden?
You know what, Christopher? A lot of people have their own side conversations in the chat. So they're kind of they kind of get down and dirty in the chat section.
I don't know who they're talking about. I'm just wondering if she's talking about Biden that did things with black founded colleges.
She's a Trumper.
Okay. Well, then I don't know. She's probably talking to somebody else like within the comment section because
now Eric is saying, Mary, wow, you are a bitch.
Okay, yeah, they're probably all like fighting in there, but
yeah, see, I have a very diverse audience.
But I'm a Trump supporter.
Yes, and so I love it. I love that I have people in here that they kind of can learn from each other and whatever else.
But we can't really learn makeup skills from you.
No, I'm just learning. I'm just learning to do makeup, and you know what? I did pretty good. You know what I did is I'm learning that you put the shiny stuff right here on the lid, and it really.
You wear full coverage, don't you? Full coverage.
You know what, Christopher? I the way I look at it as the goddess gave me natural blush. It's some call it rosacea. I like to call it blush. So I'm not going to color. I'm not covering that. I'm not, I really believe in being as natural as possible.
And your angel's kisses, are they angel kisses?
Well, that's acne. You know what, Christopher?
I think you're beautiful.
Thank you. Speaking of which, can I ask you an honest question? I really want your honest opinion. Do I look like Mr. Blobby?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Mr. Blobby needs glasses, though.
So I look like Mr. Blobby. You know what? I want to thank you for your honesty. I had a gentleman named Mario Presents on last week, and he didn't say I looked like Mr. Blobby.
You say you don't look like Mr. Blobby?
No, I said I didn't look like Mr. Blobby.
I met that Mario. Mario, he's a really, really sweet guy. I gotta tell you, he's very, very, very sweet.
You guys have crossed paths.
We cross paths here and there.
Motel Wi-Fi. Dems just hate Trump because they can't be pedos and make us a welfare state.
Speaking of welfare, I find that to be reparations. My grandfather, who is black, by the way, told me that he said my community has got reparations. We were given welfare and we were given affirmative action. He said that is all the reparations we needed, and to become equal. And I got to say, I kind of agree with them. But back to what you're saying, the Dems just hate Trump because they can't be pedo and make us a welfare state. Well, unfortunately, here in California, I think they're kind of going that direction.
You know what? I'll tell you. You know what's so funny about the state is they're throwing that unemployment money at anybody who will sign up for it, and they are finding there is much fraud in this state. And
Millions.
and I know people in my family that are receiving mysterious checks in the mail of $500 at a time from social services, and they're saying it's from years ago, and we cheated you out of like foster care money and stuff. And to me it just seems like California's sort of emptying their pockets, and I know that they then are now going to the White House and wanting money to bail them out. And so I don't know. There's just something very crooked about it to me, very irresponsible about it to me. There are stories that there are people in the river bottom, the Santa Ana river bottom, who they live in communities down there, that they are all collecting that unemployment money, and they're all saying they are gig employees. So
It is hurting the gig employees because there's so much fraud. They said there's millions of cases, not just thousands, but a couple million cases of fraud. Now, in a state where we have 66 million people, a couple million's a lot of people. And that being said, they're coming for things like now the drivers, which is Prop 22. Everybody, if you're watching this, vote yes on 22. Every driver who actually drives in these businesses wants Prop 22 to pass. It says
Yep.
4 in every 5 driver wants it. So at least give us what we want. Unfortunately, you guys who don't drive it get to vote as well. So hopefully you guys vote in favor of what we want for our jobs. Because now I'm a driver because of the fact that I also am an independent contractor as a hairstylist, and I lost my salon suite due to COVID as well. California is coming for all the independent contractors in general because of all the fraud that's happening. And it's not to get their money back from the ones who stole the money. It's just so that we all have to get employee tax by being employees at jobs.
yeah, and a lot of you probably do not know this, but Christopher is a hairdresser. It's kind of an old-fashioned word, isn't it? Kind of a stylist. And he does some beautiful work, and I'm sorry I have no examples of it right now. Um, oh,
You
let
can
me.
go to facebook.com/hair by Christopher Drew.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff. Hair by Christopher Dew. I'm gonna because you know what, I can do it real quick. He does amazing work. And Christopher, I believe somebody I know has recently contacted you.
Yes. She's recently. She said she was with her mother or mother-in-law, one of the two. But she's going to be coming and see me soon. It's your brother's.
Well,
Right.
it's really my cousin. My cousin's I don't have any siblings.
Oh,
Yeah, it's my cousin's spouse or girlfriend or something like that.
something like that. She told me that she's like an in-law or something.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on. I'm going to put this up because I do think your work should be seen because it's really beautiful.
And I really wish that because I am so political, I really wish that the art community didn't take it so political, because art was where we didn't have to think about politics or think about life or think about anything that's serious. I love art because I can kind of immerse myself in it. And unfortunately, when it comes to bright hair and the kind of work I do, it's been really taken over by one side politically, which is really weird. But so a lot of people on the right that I hang out with now don't want to get hair like the kind of hair that I do because they associate with that so much, and it's kind of like depressing. I wish that we could
Right.
spread art evenly throughout the country again. Art's
So
beautiful.
this is an example of what Christopher does. And I can tell you, as somebody, I have been a cosmetologist. That's a lot of work, and it's very artistic.
Yeah.
It goes beyond just the basic, stuff you learn in cosmetology school. This takes self-training and further schooling and education. This isn't just your basic cosmetology work.
Right.
And it's artistic, it's tedious, and it's a luxury service, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody's interested, look at Hair by Christopher Drew. Is it?
It's Hair by Christopher Drew. You guys look at the hashtag on Instagram or on Google even. The Facebook page, it's been shut down not by my choice, but by Facebook's choice because of COVID. So they're barely starting to reopen up the Facebook pages again for the salon businesses. So you guys can always find me there as well. And I do everything from dreads, everything outside the box. Dreads, bright colors, extensions. I do things that normally stylists don't really advertise. And if you Google search people who do dreads in Orange County, California, I'm the only one that pops up.
And if you notice, if you look at Christopher's hair right now, you did your own hair. He actually has short hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really short hair.
it's great. It's great. I mean, and the funny thing is, it doesn't look fake.
Yeah.
It doesn't look fake. But anyway,
Hogatha, this is different hair from last time I saw you. I put in I ordered a brand new hair I'm getting tomorrow, but this is different hair from literally. I put this in on Saturday morning.
Really, wow.
It takes about an hour and a half, and I glue it all in. And
I posted the links to your hair page. So, anyways, anybody else have any other questions? I kind of run out of talking points here, Christopher. Do you have anything else you want to say or plug or anything? Do you have any events coming up?
I do. Actually, I'm going to be in Casper, Wyoming on October 16th through the 19th.
Wyoming is beautiful.
Yeah, I've never been.
Oh, you'll love it.
And I'm also going to be in Denver, Colorado. I'll be on Denver first on the 16th, and then 17th, 18th, 19th, I'll be in Wyoming at a parade event, and then I'll be speaking at an event there, and I'll have a meet and greet on the 17th in their downtown area. The flyers up on my social media and stuff. I'm going to be pushing and promoting it more. I saw somebody in the comment section here. They did push my link to my Adorable Deplorable page. So, and it's Hogatha. I was like, somebody in the comment. Yeah, Hogatha just did. So make sure you guys click on those links. And you guys can see the flyer for that there. If you're anywhere in the Denver area or Wyoming area, I will be there. And then after that, I'm going to be going hopefully to Florida to go speak there as well, right before the election.
Wow, I had no idea you're such a busy person, Christopher. Are you
I just
part
spoke
of
on
an
the Denver weekend. That was first weekend home, because otherwise every weekend I've been in San Francisco, Modesto, and then I was in Portland, and so I've been traveling every single weekend.
Wow, I didn't know that you're so heavily utilized that way. Do you go with organizations or different groups, or how do you do that?
You know, I used to try to want to piggyback off of an organization or group, kind of like Turning Point USA, or I wanted to find my own group that I can join. But I found quickly that I wasn't really one that fit in with any of the groups on the right. And so I'm not even the gay one, to be honest. So what I do is I'm kind of a lone ranger, and I go where people ask me to go and speak and stuff. So I do. That's why I'm not so consistently about one thing. Like, you don't see me consistently being a speaker or consistently being somebody at rallies. I'm always doing a bunch of things. And so I'm always wherever I'm needed. And I feel like I should always put my attention where I can make the most change happen. So for instance, I was asked to go speak in San Diego the weekend I was actually in Portland. The couple days before I called them and I declined. Even though I was already on flyers and stuff, and I told them, I said, I'm really sorry, but in Portland, the more numbers that we have, the safer they'll be. So I need to be where I'm needed. In San Diego, where they wanted me to speak, it was all Republicans already. It would have just been people saying, yeah, in the crowd. And I did that in Ladera Ranch before too. It's fun, it's great, but I'm not into echo chambers too much. I like to go and talk to the opposition. My goal here is to change and educate the opposition. So when I do speak at events, it's always to educate them on the real Democratic history.
And that's one thing I have noticed about you. Because you're more of a social butterfly, and you kind of float around to all these different things and organizations, and you're not really kind of stuck in one frame of mind. Right. And I think that just makes you more well-rounded. Hold on.
Popular.
What's that?
But it's less public. I guess with social media, people like consistency. For instance, Brandon Strzok, you know him for his speaking events or for Walk Away, or Mario's always the first one in every Trump rally. Bless his soul, because it's a lot sleeping out there. We did it together. But it's a matter of everybody's consistently into their thing, and they're growing with it. I'm so proud to see everybody grow and stuff like that. But it's a lot harder for me to grow because of the fact that I am everywhere. So it's hard for me to grow in one group or one area. But at the end of the day, I'm more about making the change as opposed to the growth, anyways. So it fits me, and I'm comfortable.
Joey MC90 asks, where and when are you speaking in Florida?
Well, right now we're trying to get me to American Priority Conference, but that one, it seems like it's a little too close to call. So I might not be able to go to American Priority. But right after that, there will be another event in Southern Florida that I was messaged about today. So I don't know all the details yet on that, but it is going to be in Southern Florida near, I would say near where Trump's doing the AMP Fest. So it's going to be, I forgot what city that it's called, but wherever, it's where the Trump rally is. It's right by Miami, right next to Miami.
Okay. So
all the dates and stuff could be coming out soon. I was just told about today.
And do you have a social media that you kind of update and you let people know where you're going? Is that
Definitely. Well, my Facebooks, I have 3 of them because I'm kicked off often.
right?
So I have the Adorable Deplorable, which is a brand new page because my work that I've been doing for the past 4 years was all deleted by Facebook, and it was so discouraging and so unmotivating to want to start this all again. But here I am. So I started another Adorable Deplorable page, so it's really just kicking off the ground. And I have on my Christopher Drew page. I'm kicked off right now for 3 days, but you can still go there and see things. Also, the Hayden Hill page is my alias. You can see things there as well. I mean, as it kicked me off one, I post on the other. So I hate to say this, but if you're really that interested in what I'm doing, I would add my Instagram and add my TikTok. Those places. TikTok's the one I'm kicked off the least, but I would add those ones as well because when I'm off one, I'm on the other.
Yeah, I do notice. I do follow your TikTok, and it's you really have a handle on TikTok. You have a lot of
TikTok is my biggest following.
I think you probably have a way with a younger audience. I find for me, I grew quickly on Facebook, but TikTok is just something that I have a couple of videos that have gotten tons of views, some that get none, but I don't really have the following on
Well,
TikTok.
to be honest, TikTok, I didn't expect to even be anything on TikTok. TikTok was a fun thing that I did to escape social media. It was like my funny thing. But then when I saw that kids were actually listening to me, and then I saw that they were kids, and then I saw wow, these are the future people. These are the ones that are hardest to get through. These are the ones that parents never can agree with them politically on. And it was something as simple as the education that they're learning about the American history is what they're failing at. They're not learning the proper history. And that's what really is one of the biggest problems we have with our youth. And when I realized, wow, little kids are listening to me, I thought I have something here. And I keep going with it, and I keep educating. None of my videos are really mean or anything like that. Most of them just educate people, and it's really resonating with them. And now we have a group called the Hype House, the Right Hype House, and there's a lot of gay kids that are also conservative, and they're all speaking out loudly and proudly, and it's going really well. I really enjoy TikTok.
And and the funny thing is when it comes to we'll end after this. A lot of parents tend to forget. I notice a lot of parents are really dragging their kids into these political things, and a lot of these. I notice a lot of more of the leftist liberal people really are involving their children and stuff. And I think that they probably should remember that these kids will rebel one day, and when they rebel, they're not going to be on your side.
They always go the opposite of what their parents are.
Always. So the more that these parents are just indoctrinating their kids rather than just let them be kids, the more they're really kind of building their future enemy. I mean, it's you always rebel against your parents.
I think kids should be out of all politics. I mean, they can't even vote till they're 18. They should not be given that decision until after they first pass math class and all their other classes. I think that what we should do, though, is continue to educate them, and that people on the right, I don't think should really involve their kids politically. I think that what you should do is educate your children on American history, and then ask them what side they choose at that point after they turn 18, because that's when they can actually make the decisions and be a part of everything. It's okay to learn about it when you're young, but it shouldn't go beyond educating them.
Well, no, and especially for parents who may be misleading their kids.
Yeah.
And
a lot of Antifa people are under 18. A lot of Antifa, they were all under 18 that were throwing things at us and trying to fight us. And it was just like, you guys don't even have a say so in anything happening right now. How are you so triggered?
Right. And I think it's amazing if these are people who really have not experienced life at all. Like, really, how many of them have had jobs and careers and families and had money and then lost it? And, a lot of them, I'm sure, live with their parents. They have a nice safety net right underneath them to catch them. And it's like they haven't really experienced life, but they act like they have. And they're out there really just yelling and pointing at the faces of police officers.
And the best part about it is they never experienced real or true racism or real hate. There's people alive today that did experience the real homophobia, the real racism that America was plagued with for so many years. And I'm so happy that we can pat ourselves on the back and say that we've come far. Our generation is not like that. We're not like that. America is a beautiful place where we're not racist anymore, where we are all equal. Since gay marriage, every American became equal at that moment. Every American. And we're so lucky to say we're alive to witness that. I think that it's okay to sit back and pat ourselves on the back. We still have work to do, yes, but we can pat ourselves on the back for the work that we've already done and not pretend like it hasn't happened.
Well, no, and that's the funny thing is people think I guess we're supposed to be living in Disneyland or in heaven. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think they realize that we're just on we're just earth creatures trying to make it work like every other species. And so far in the United States, we've done a pretty good job in such a short period of time. It's I don't understand these people. What examples are they looking at of a great country? Like what are the examples they want to, live up to? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well,
And
at this point, every time anybody of color or anybody who's gay, if they break the law at all and get in trouble at all, the media wants to say the cops are coming for black people, the cops are coming for gay people, and they're really trying to demonize anybody of color or anybody who's gay being reprimanded for anything. So which means they're trying to make it to where almost like the gays are trying to make it to where it's like they get exempt from every law, and so are African Americans at this point. And it's just like I think we are a pretty damn good country. When even with it being that way, you can only put out like 5 publications every like 6 months about a black person being arrested wrongly, or about a gay person who feels like they should have been served at a cake store. Like it's just like they're far and few between. In America, that was every day for every American back in the day, 50 years ago. That was every day for every single African American. That was every day for every single gay person. So when these anomalies happen now, you have to remember that they are anomalies, and there's millions of people, millions of miles in between each incident that is always isolated. We need to remember that, and we need to know that in a free country where people can think freely and do things freely, there will be some people who do dumb things. These things are always going to happen. We need to stop pretending like our walking and marching is going to end every single time a black person commits a crime.
yeah, and people are being sold on this fantasy that your marching is going to take away that one bad apple out of a million. It's really stupid when you think about it. It's like humans are not perfect beings. So how do you think that, say, the police force is going to behave perfectly? Like,
Right.
I mean, I think statistics that we have when it comes to police brutality, they're great statistics, because imagine how many people are pulled over, how many people have been, have been
3.5 million a year on average are police stops, and only out of that 19 of them last year out of 3.5 million, there was 19 people who were unarmed and shot by police officers, and only 9 of them were shot arguably wrongly by police officers last year. Only 9 of them. More people have died in the riots so far than died of all police brutality of the whole year of last year out of 3.5 million stops. That means that you are more likely to die in a car accident, or even in some instances in some states get struck by lightning, than you are to get shot at by a police officer. It is a 0.0000001% chance that you will actually come in a fire contact with a police officer.
Now, what do you think is more? Now this is a good statistic to think about. Christopher, do you think you're more likely to die of COVID or die at the hands of a cop?
You're more likely to die of COVID, which is even another thing that's kind of mysterious.
We haven't even talked about that, Christopher, have
Right.
we? It's and you know what, Christopher, I'm going to say something. I noticed you're out there not wearing a mask.
I mean, my roommate does have a compromised immune system at times, and at those times you will see some of the videos where I am wearing a mask, but it's far and few between, because he's far and few between sitting here with a compromised immune system. I am aware of reality. If I'm going to go see my grandmother, which I don't do. So, I mean, if somebody's going to go see their grandparents, or somebody's going to be around somebody who's already sick, or maybe go visit them at the hospital, I thought it was always etiquette to make sure that we were healthy and that we weren't coughing and that we weren't sick when we saw those people. But since we're going back to basics like washing our hands, we could say, wear a mask when you go see those people. COVID is a thing. But if you are just going to live your life every day, you shouldn't have to live in fear or paranoia. We have more kids in America that have died of the flu than COVID this year. And the thing is, only 150 kids have died of COVID. You don't want to look up the mortality rates of children for other things, because if you do, you will shit yourself. I'm not even talking about abortion. I'm talking about like literally like kids that die of cancer, kids that die of leukemia. There's so many thousands and thousands of kids that are dying of these things every day, and yet we're not wearing masks or acting crazy around them. But what's going on now is we have no kids in school, and they're now tethering their education, which they've already been doing, but now they're doing it at a faster, greater rate, to where now even if Donald Trump wins again, he won't be able to really control, based on the fact that everybody's at home on their computers.
And another thing that I think is really strange is they're so afraid of kids and COVID, but the number one killer of children's are cars. But they're more concerned about the emissions of the cars rather than the kids that are killed with the car.
Yeah, they're more concerned about the emissions than they are about the cars themselves. Like we should, at this point, for COVID, if kids can't go to school because of COVID, we should never let a kid even see what a street looks like, let alone walk in the street or walk across the street. You know?
I don't understand the priorities. Now, I understand that there should be a categorization of priorities. The top priority at the top, descending. If you really care about kids, you wouldn't put them in a vehicle. Okay. Now, but they lose that hyper focus on life when it involves the conveniences for themselves. Yeah, I'm going to go get that pack of cigarettes. I'm going to put all my kids in the car. I'm going to put my kids and all other kids on the road in danger for my cigarettes. But you know what? That tailpipe better be pumping out only a certain amount of CO2 or I'm going to attack the president. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me at all. Gallup and Ghost, first of all, he wanted to know if this was live. It is live, and I put your question up. Do you believe Trump is the cause of all this turmoil?
I want to say yes and no. I think yes, because we have a lot of people who are simply upset that we put a man who was not a politician because we got sick of politicians. We put a man into the highest position in the world that America saw fit, and I think that really threw the politicians off and made them really angry. So that is a cause and effect, but I do not think that Trump has purposely or been intentionally doing any of this. No, I do not believe that he is the cause of any of the turmoil purposely. I do believe that he just is simply being there and not being one of them. They're going to do this. And I want you guys to know it's going to get worse because we're going to keep on winning.
And see, that's the thing that I don't understand about people is, did he come? Yeah, I guess in one hand he did. Like, I agree with you. And it's not for the reasons you think. It's because it's the left, their hypersensitivity and their reaction to it, which has created the turmoil and all of the sensational fake stories and getting people wound up in this tight ball of anxiety and hate. And they really think, you know what, Christopher, I saw that there are people who honestly believe and are trying to convince me that if he gets elected again in his second term, that lesbians like me are going to be put in a concentration camp and gassed to death.
I think we were supposed to be put in concentration camps the first time he got in office, weren't we?
Yeah, because, hey, I got these 4 years. I might as well do all the damage I can in these 4 years. But it's like, because you never know if you're going to get a second term. But the thing is, to think that there are Americans that honestly think that. I just, like, where do you live? Like,
well, my question to them is this. If they really are so against hate, if they're so against racism to where it makes their blood boil, to where they can't even go to work and think clearly, they have to march in the street. You must march in the street. If you guys are thinking this crazy about racism, homophobia, sexism, then how do you guys feel about your party's history? That's all you have to say. Like, how would you feel about your party? Because your party's history should make your head explode. And if you feel this deep about it, the crazy part about it is it's so selective that they feel like they want to believe that we'll be put in concentration camps. But do I actually think they believe it? I don't think anybody on earth believes that. I think that we all know that that's false, but I think that it's okay to say that because it might make others think and agree with you when you say you hate Donald Trump.
Tata T says COVID was made in China with the help of Democrats to help by spreading fear in hopes of bringing Trump down. They can kiss my ass. And that's what I said when I quit my job at the Democratic headquarters. Tata T worked for the DNC.
I love you all of a sudden even more. Like when it's somebody from within their own who says this is all the proof any of you guys need out there who's skeptical or on the fence, because this is proof right here. And you are right about the COVID was made in China, because what happened was Obama had donated, I think it was like upwards of 15 million to the Wuhan center that literally made the virus, and he gave them money to research different new viruses and different strains of viruses in order to learn how to and to make a plan to combat them in case they ever do come to America. And then Fauci said in 2017 there will be a pandemic in the future, and then boom. And who's the one who now Obama and everybody said go Fauci, and because of the fact that Trump, he's kind of new to the White House, He invited anybody who was willing to come and be the doctor of the White House or whatever to be the advisor. And it was Fauci. I mean, it all makes sense, and it all kind of it's so. That's the thing about Democrats; they don't hide it anymore. They don't hide it anymore. The thing they got to make all of you believe that you're a Democrat, that's when they were hiding it. They hide it well. When they were hiding it well, when they convinced all of us that we were Democrat because we're poor, because we're gay, because we're black, because we're whatever, and they did a good job at that. But somehow they dropped the ball and they started showing their true colors. And I think that's where the saying "drain the swamp" comes into play, because now we all see them for what they're actually doing, and it's terrifying. And you working at the DNC is so commendable that you are willing to speak out and say something. Be careful, because Hillary's watching. You might die.
I have a question about the whole virus thing escaping this lab. If a virus can escape this, I'm sure very tightly secured viral laboratory, how is a mask gonna stop it?
Well, they say that a mask stopping the virus is equivalent to thinking mosquitoes are going to be stopped by a chain link fence. It's really crazy to me. But when the fires happened here in California, they were saying they said be careful wearing your mask because it can't stop the ash that's in the air, the ash particles that you can actually see.
Right.
But it stops the virus, which is a lot smaller than an ash particle.
I'll tell you, because I was all for it, and this is the thing. I was recently watching videos. It just, it's funny because once in a while the media slips. It does. And, people are saying, oh, they're talking about the masks and they're talking about this. I can't pretend that I didn't see Dr. Fauci on 2020 laugh about the idea that people would be wearing a mask. Now, this is the person that we're told follow the science, and he is the expert. Okay, so Fauci is our man, supposedly. He laughed on 2020 about the prospect of us wearing masks, saying that's not, if you are a healthy person, there's no need for you to wear a mask.
And the crazy part about that is that part never changed. It's still, if you are a healthy person, you
Right.
will still get out of it alive, no matter what.
And people will say, well, that was what he said before. Well, we knew it was a virus then. Did it change size? Did the virus get smaller or bigger? Or, do you know what I'm saying? We've always known it's a virus.
Or did anybody else die that didn't have a compromised immune system or wasn't the average age of 78 years old? No.
And yes, it's extremely sad. We could all say that till we're blue in the face. It's sad. Okay, we've said it. But you do not ruin a country over such a small amount of people. Well, it's almost like so a certain percentage dies. That means the rest of us have to die along with you. I mean, let's be real. Let's be practical.
And it was less than 5%, by the way, but it was way less than 5%. But that being said, it also is crazy to me because I don't think they're really even thinking about, for being an emotional side on politics. Fauci and them, I don't even think we're thinking about the actual aspects of what we're going through with COVID. I think what they were trying to do actually was derail the economy, because that was something that we all know Donald Trump prided himself on, and we all know that we all also prided him on, and we all started to wake up and leave the left due to. So I think that what they were trying to do was actually their focus was on the economy and not really on what the cause and effect that would happen from just putting out this virus. They were thinking, is businesses are ending? Yes. More unemployment? Yes. More unemployment? Yes. Let's give it to homeless people. Let's give it to everybody. So we can say the numbers are as high as they are. That's the only reason why they did that. And unfortunately, the aspects and cause of effect has really hurt a lot of us American people. And we've been screaming at them to, look, you're hurting us. We're drowning. Save us. And they haven't even attempted to look our way once.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's just, we're not, it's crazy. And you know what I think? I honestly think what's going to happen, I think every citizen that cares, who wants to be a part of it, should just stop wearing the masks and go to the businesses. And really, are they going to turn every customer away? I don't think so. The customers can force them to follow. We can. And then you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. Tatted T wants to know how he can be connected with you. He came later. He's the one from the DNC. He would love to probably network with you.
Okay, you can find me. My biggest following is on TikTok, but I have a feeling that you want to connect with me, so we can actually have a conversation. So I would recommend going to my Facebook, which would be facebook.com/the adorable deplorable, or with 2 E's, because They say it's contradictory if it doesn't have two E's for some reason. But or you can find me on TikTok as Real Adorable Deplorable, or on Instagram as
He's very Googleable. You Google up Christopher Drew, you Google up the
with
adorable.
the Adorable Deplorable, and you'll find me because Christopher's spelled with a K and the Drew has two W's.
You're gonna find his long blonde hair in different colors, makeup, tattoos, rainbow. Well, no, more Trump flag than rainbow flag, but
Keep
yeah,
digging, you can see nudes. No, I'm just kidding.
yes. Christopher is everywhere. He's very easy to find. Well, Christopher, it's been an hour and a half. I'm sorry. I didn't put a time limit on this, but it's getting late. But thank you so much. I really appreciate you. This has been I think this has been a very positive thing. And I'm glad, like I said, I have a diverse audience and we get to hear all views. Plus they get to communicate with each other. And, sometimes they fight, but you know what? We're all adults. So I really don't care. The moderators know they know what words to censor. We censor out the N word, we censor out the CUNT word. I love that word, but we censor that and personal threats, things about children and things about animals. Those are the only rules, really. So the moderators, they do their job. Well, anyway, Christopher, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And so I honestly don't have a guest for next week. So I'll let you guys know when I have a new one. But thanks for joining, and thanks again, Christopher.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to be back.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a good one.